There is stand up and sit down, right-handed, left-handed, and way more strategy and skill than you might think. Arm wrestling is a thrilling sport of mind and body, and few American men have mastered the game like Scott Latella. The Rotterdam native and Chaumont graduate has been competing at the sport's highest level for years, and even as he approaches 50, he's still winning national titles, sometimes against men half his age. And I am joined in studio by the reigning sit-down national champion, Scott. Thanks so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
So we got an arm wrestling table here, which is the audience may have picked up on. We're going to give it a go here in a few minutes. Yeah. But before I risk injury, first let's talk about your career. And you won a national championship this year in sit-down. And tell me what that's like going up against the very best in the country.
It's intense. You know, there's a lot of preparation. I trained for about a year on sit down just to specifically get ready for the nationals. There's a lot of training, a lot of pain, and then a lot of preparation as far as checking out your opponents. The techniques they're going to use and the strategy to hopefully counter it.
So is there tape? I mean, is this like sitting in a film room?
Yeah, it's mostly it's YouTube. That's the great thing about the internet now is it's changed arm wrestling as far as the amount of participation, but then also being able to say, okay, hey, how does this guy, what's his style? How does he win? And then maybe more importantly is how does he lose? And are you able to, develop that type of strength to beat him that way?
So strength and strategy, and we're looking at a match here. Maybe you can tell me what we're looking at, but there's a lot that goes into it versus just let's line up and see who's stronger.
Yeah, and this is against Junior. He had won 4 years in a row, and he's tremendously strong. So my strategy wasn't to try to overpower him. Mine was more of like a hook and a hold, and I trained specifically for conditioning. And even though he has me pretty close, my strategy is to try to wear him down, and believing that my conditioning is, better than his, and to overcome his strength.
How do you train for that endurance? Because you talked about pain, and is there a lot of pain right here? Are you experiencing pain while you're doing this?
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, at my age, I have no more cartilage left in my elbow, so my elbow most of the time hurts. So my training is a little different than it used to be. So I'm doing a lot of volume training. I do a lot of statics or isometrics, so there's less pressure on the joint. And I have to recover longer than maybe somebody that's young who can go every other day.
And you're 48. 48.
Yeah.
And in nationals, you were competing against guys a lot younger than you?
Left-handed, I was in the open class, so I was competing against anyone and everyone, as far as 20s and 30s. Right-handed, I competed in the Masters. That's the match you just saw, and that's 45 and over.
Okay, but when you're going left-handed, and you still finished, what'd you finish in sit-down lefted-handed nationals?
First.
Okay,
yeah.
So you did win a national championship against guys that are half your age, some of them?
Yeah, most of them were in their 20s. There was a couple guys who maybe were in the 30s. One guy was in the 40s, so it was a spread out age-wise.
Are you the oldest champion recently? Do you know?
No, there are, especially on stand-up, there are some guys who are in their, their 50s who are still very competitive, and sit down wise, I'm up there, as far as there's not too many guys older than me, but so.
Take me back to the very beginning of your career. When was this something you decided, hey, I'm good at, I really want to pursue it?
I found it by accident. I had a really good friend of mine who was, him and his buddies were going to compete in an arm wrestling contest at a sports bar, and I decided to tag along. So I had always enjoyed arm wrestling, in school, the cafeteria matches. And I was pretty good. You win some, you lose some, but I decided to go, and I entered in the novice, which is like a beginner's, and I got destroyed. I mean, it's double elimination. I was done like that, really quick. And they put you on a mailing list. So then a couple months later, I went to Vermont, and then I went to New Hampshire, and again, I just lost. But then there was a referee who had seen me at the other tournaments, and he decided to, kind of help me out, teach me. He said, show up at this place, we practice. And I showed up at this place, and they had 15 guys, and they had 3 tables, and I started to really, work on the craft, work on technique. They taught me how to train properly. And about 6 months later, I entered a tournament, and I won. And, the best part was it wasn't so much winning, it was beating a couple guys who'd previously beat me. And that's when, my competitive nature was like, this is for me.
So how much time do you spend conditioning, training, lifting weights, anything that actually, works towards making you better at this?
Now, now it's less. You know, it's probably 3 days a week. Being older, I need more recovery time. So, you know, my arms, my joints tend to, you know, be pretty beat up. So I'll have to take 2 or 3 days rest between an intense workout compared to somebody. When I was younger, it was 5 or 6 days a week.
Right. Yeah. How's your arm feeling right now? You good? You ready to go?
I'm always ready.
All right, well, explain to me the table, you know, how we set this up, grips, everything.
Yeah, so it's set up for right-handed, and, you know, the elbow pad, your elbow has to stay on the pad, but you can move it around. You can slide it around, you know, to kind of work some different angles. And, you know, depending on different arm lengths, sometimes you have to maneuver your elbow a little bit. You're going to hold on to this. And then, you know, the object is to pin your opponent to the pin pad or go below it for a parallel pin.
Or below it, okay. I'm curious, being 6'4", having maybe a longer reach than others, would that be an advantage or disadvantage for me?
In the beginning, I think it's a disadvantage for you because there's going to be a lot of arm for me to go after, a lot of angles. And if you don't know what you're doing and how to counter that it's hard to defend all that area. Now, if you were to, you know, really study the sport and get really good at it, now that long lever is going to be an advantage.
Interesting.
But it's going to take a little while.
Okay, well, let's give it a shot.
All right.
So we got to turn the table here, huh?
Yep.
Okay, so I grab on left hand here.
You're going to hold on to the peg. You're going to put your elbow down.
Okay.
And then the first thing you do is you're going to get a grip.
Okay.
Basically a grip of the thumbs. You're going to close your hand to where it feels comfortable. Now, normally there'd be a ref, and the ref would make sure your wrists are straight, your body's parallel, ready to go. After the go, then you can kind of force your move, whether it's an inside move or an outside move.
I can see how both would be effective.
So you want to bring your elbow up a little bit like this. And so good hand position, and then you would ideally, arm wrestling, the nickname of it is pulling, and guys are called pullers because it's better to pull towards you. At first, a lot of new people want to go right for the pin. And, you know, it's not a bad strategy, but if you're able to pull a guy's arm open, that angle opens up, and then it becomes...
And then I lose some strength, right?
Correct.
Okay. Okay, well, let me just see a move here. What's the move you said that's kind of your best move?
My best move, right-handed, I go inside. So I'm going to hook in. So it's just a basic move. Most people do that move. So it's more of a hook move. I have a shorter arm. So my objective is to come in and kind of open that. You know, stay in tight to my body. And then I can either go for the pin or I can pull it back like this.
All right, well, let's see it.
Okay.
I'll go on your go command.
Okay, ready? Go.
I don't feel like I'm budging your arm much. I know you're working really hard right now, aren't you?
Well, you're staying tight, though. That's good.
Okay.
And then I'm going to give you a little resistance.
Okay. All right, well, you won.
Fairly.
I feel like I need some reinforcements. So Brittany Devane is in the control room producing the segment right now. So Brittany, come on down. There you go. Look at those guns. All right, as I know you were watching, I didn't fare too well, just me against Scott, so now it's going to be both of us. Do you ever go, like, you know, 2 against 1? Is that anything that typically would happen?
This would be a new part of the sport.
This is a new thing? Okay. So let's get your hand in here, too. So. Okay, so
oh my God.
Let's see if the extra arm here makes a difference. Okay. Come on, Brittany, I need more from you than that.
Oh, I failed at the end there.
Okay, you know what? 2's not enough. 2's not enough. We need 1 more. Doug Sherman, get in here.
He's been eyeballing the whole time.
He's been waiting for a crack at it.
Yeah, arm off. No.
Okay.
I think I need to push.
Okay, let's get you on that side. Okay. All right, Brittany's going to come. Okay, so now we got 4 arms against 1. Okay, ready? Go.
You're not really trying, are you? I'm looking to where you guys go.
We had him.
Yeah, that's cool.
Oh, you just baited us right in.
Besides, wearing you down.
Did you feel like your arm was getting any fatigue at all?
Yeah, a little bit. You know, there's 3 of you, you know, so.
My litmus test was we did get one of the veins.
I'm warmed up now. I'm ready to go. So.
All right, well, maybe this is your workout for today, so save you a trip to the gym. We'll just, to finish up here, tell us what you have coming up next.
Coming up this Saturday in Albany at the Pearl Street Pub is an arm wrestling competition. It's got something for everybody. There's amateur, there's pro, men's, women's, right and left-handed, master's class for the older people. And then with each of those divisions, there's different weight classes. So,
okay.
And it starts about 2 o'clock, but be there early to weigh in.
Awesome. I'm sure Brittany's going to be there to check in.
Yeah.
Now that I've got my first match under, under my belt, I think I'm ready to go.
We'll sign you right up.
And then you have a national title to defend next year?
Yeah, down in Virginia. I'll be, start first of the year. I'll start to, focus my training on that.
All right. Awesome. Good luck.
Thanks.
All right, thanks,
I appreciate
guys.
it.
Yep.
All right.
And coming up.